one game away. Blow up. We're playing for something, man. We're playing for something. It's gotta mean something to you. It gotta mean something. Everything you got. Let's finish this.
Do it, fellas.
Let's go.
Let's do it, fellas.
Finish 2-3. 1, 2, 3. Finish.
I can't even think about all of the shit I did to fit in. Past hard to watch like a fucking scary movie. I'm always happy to meet somebody that never knew me. Change for the better, hope niggas are living through me. I put it all on the wax so the people can know the true me. Hard to remain sane when the people you love the most is what's causing the damn pain. Y'all beef by the same thing, we ain't playing the same game. It's all for my family. She the girl of your fucking dreams, but to me she a plain Jane. You dipper and ball man, I dump when them calls came. This that higher level thinking. I'm the type to jump the fuck off of the shit before it's sinking. Not here for no new shit, my game slider boosted. Ain't I don't have to prove shit. Rockstar fight the fool shit. My movie, this the new script. I want a life with no bullshit, nigga. I know on these news clips. That's why I dap him and move quick. Won't be around when they move switch. Won't be around when they lose clips. Won't be around for they lose lips. Might be the reason they pull shit. Yeah.
Yesterday's price is not today's price, Ravens. What you thought you were going to have to pay him, you're going to have to pay him more.
You know, it's been a minute since I done a Baltimore Ravens video. Just a straight Baltimore Ravens video where I don't talk about nothing but the Ravens. But boy, we about to have that type of day. Listen, we lost to the Jets. Yo, first off, how's everybody doing? Welcome to Kicking It with Saint. We talking about Baltimore real quick, but listen. Week 11. I think we on week 11. This past week, bro, was a blur. I'm not gonna lie. Thanksgiving week, I worked so fucking much, bro. Like, and it's not gonna happen again. Like, I'm not gonna be putting in them type of hours next week. I mean, these next couple weeks that I put in for Thanksgiving, and really the week before Thanksgiving. Like, the hours that I've been putting in is absolutely fucking ridiculous. Especially considering I told myself I would not be giving companies this type of hours no more, bro. I was like, yo, I'm gonna strategically find a way to maintain the money I make so I can get to my goals, bro. I gotta have time to fulfill my goals, you know what I'm saying? But the other day, I damn near slept the whole day away. And when I finally woke up, bro, I was still dead ass tired, yo. I was still hot too, but dead ass tired. And I was like, yeah, this not gonna happen next week. Like, this is not going to, like, if I don't have the energy to do all the different I didn't even know Survivor Series was happening last Saturday. I just found out because I was scrolling through my apps to find something to watch when I got home and woke up finally. And then it was like, poof. Survivor Series. And I'm glad that I chose to do that because I was about to actually stay at work for another 5 hours. I was going to just go ahead and knock out this 9-hour shift. I was like, shit, this is the last day of my week. I might as well just go ahead and get him another double. But then I was like, nah, fuck that. Fuck that. And time moves so slow. Like, I don't know what happened. I guess when the time got pushed back or something like that, like now we be at work and it'll feel like we done work like 2 hours, right? And the job that I do, 2 hours of work, usually when you get to that 2-hour point of work, it'll felt like you done been there for like 3 hours or 4 hours. Bro, now when we working, it feel like we done popped the 2 hours worth of work. We'll look at the clock, bro, it's only been like 30 minutes, an hour and 30. Not even an hour and 30 sometimes. I don't know what's going on with this time, bro. I don't know what, and now at my job, they usually let us leave like 30 minutes early or 40 minutes, sometimes even an hour because we got to come right back. And the type of job that we do, it's a job that you need that hour break, bro. We be getting like 15 minutes now because they be keeping us on the dot, bro. It's crazy. But one day I'm not going to have to do this job. You know what I'm saying? That's why we grind. Because, listen, some of us not blessed enough to never have to work these type jobs. But I'm telling you, it's only the people who stop the grind, who quit on their dreams, who end up having to live in that and become those everyday people who we say you need the people who do that. Well, not necessarily. We do need the people to do that. But the only reason we need those people to do that because the people who stop chasing dreams, stop believing in dreams, and just started to tell themselves and everybody else, just get a 9 to 5. Well, when you finally develop into that, and that becomes not just a mentality but a lifestyle type of choice for you, and a belief, a system basically, well now you buried in that. And so now that you've become that type of person, we need you to do all these everyday jobs that dreamers don't want to do, that dreamers refuse to do, that dreamers, some ignorant dreamers do look down on it, but most dreamers just realize that's not what I want to do the rest of my life. Like, I cannot see myself doing this the rest. And it's not even like, I know some people be like, oh, flipping burgers and cleaning truck. Nah, it's not even just that. You could be making great money as a lawyer. Some people don't want to be no fucking lawyer the whole life. Some people don't want to be sitting in banks the whole day. You know what I'm saying? There's jobs out there that pay you good money that people still don't want to be doing. I'm just telling you. But you know, that's neither here nor there. Let's talk about the Baltimore Ravens, bro. My squad. So they lost to Jacksonville. Yo, fuck the reporter that was talking to Lamar about how the last time he was in Jacksonville playing, they lost in the college. Yo, fuck him, bro. I don't know why that would ever be something that he thought was cool to bring up. Like, that's what I'm saying. For some reason, people look at athletes as not humans, so people think that it's cool to bring up the ugliest moments or some of the most heartbreaking moments in athletes' lives, unless they like you or you white. Like Tom Brady, maybe they don't ask him these dumbass questions. You're not asking Peyton Manning these dumbass questions. You know what I'm saying? You're not trying to bring up their worst moments to him when you having to talk to him. But you know, I digress. Let's talk about Baltimore, man. What the fuck is wrong with it? I know what's wrong with this team. All right, I know what's wrong with this team. It's the same problem that's been wrong with this team since basically Lamar done got there. It's a Lamar bust, and that's a sad reality to live in when you Lamar Jackson. So they lost yesterday, and a fan, in quotation, it's not a fan. I'm not gonna call this dude a fan. I'm gonna call this dude a dickhead. This nobody decided to tweet Lamar and talk about how Baltimore shouldn't pay him. They should go get a well-rounded team, yada, 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 yada. Just a bunch of bullshit, you know, that fans like to say to people that they never say in person. If he was in front of Lamar, he'd ask for an autograph. You know what I'm saying? But, you know, when you get these dudes on Twitter, on the internet, they get these Twitter fingers, they get this crazy amount of energy. You know what I'm saying? They become 6'20", 6'20", and unstoppable monsters. So, you know, when you get that type of energy, who really can stop you aside from Twitter admin? But nonetheless, Baltimore lost yesterday. And it's quite funny to me that Baltimore lost this game. They didn't have a double-digit lead, but they did have a 9-point lead, which is 2 scores, and they still lost. Now, Baltimore lost this game on a game-winning touchdown, basically. They tried to get Justin Tucker to knock through a 66-yard field goal, which, man, missed that shit by like 2 inches, bro. This dude, Justin Tucker, is unreal. Like, I don't even give credit to most people for almost doing something most of the time. Like, it's depending on what we're talking about. This motherfucker almost hit a 67-yard field goal, bro, or 66. This dude is insane, bro. Outside, like it wasn't even in a stadium or in a dome. I mean, in a dome, like it wasn't inside a building. Like this dude Justin Tucker's unreal. But I'm happy he missed it. Obviously, I would have been happy if he made it, because that just added to his legacy. But team-wise, I'm glad he missed it, because you see, I don't want Baltimore to miss the playoffs. I don't want Baltimore to do bad in the playoffs, because that's going to be a reflection of Lamar Jackson. Lamar Jackson going to take all the heat for it regardless. Unlike any other team, no other quarterback really gets credit for teams losing in the playoffs and not getting there. Just Lamar. But the reason I'm happy they lost that game, because the game is a fucking reflection of what's happened throughout the season and throughout the time Lamar Jackson's time here. You know, I was looking at Get Up a couple moments ago and looking at them talk. It was Ryan Clark, Dominique Foxworth, and Dan Orlovsky. And I just find it very interesting, these type of conversations, because what does not happen is, and when you have a conversation about the Ravens, what's always going to happen is you're going to talk about Lamar Jackson. Rightfully so. He's the best player on the team by a wide margin. But what always happens is we either blaming Lamar for why they losing, blaming Lamar for why they not good enough, or we taking credit away from his wins. It's very rare nowadays that anybody. I mean, I saw Michael. What's this dude's name? Michael. The Cowboys. I can't believe I forgot my man's name. Jesus Christ. The receiver, the legendary receiver for the who be on First Take all the time. I saw him talk about I haven't seen the Lamar highlight in weeks. That's because you're not watching the full games, my guy. I don't understand how you can be so critical of the Dallas Cowboys and you watch those full games so you know everything that's going on so you can debate anybody. But you half-ass watching the Ravens and then still getting on TV and talking about Lamar Jackson. Like, that shit's insane to me. But nonetheless, if you had put Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen in the same situation yesterday where they go down the field and get their team a touchdown against a far lesser talented team, it don't matter how tough the game. I just saw Josh Allen struggle against the Lions on Thanksgiving. Just saw that. Like, that just happened. Lamar Jackson gets his team a touchdown, converts the 2-point conversion in Jacksonville, leaves them with less than a minute or something, like 58 seconds left to work with. 80 yards that Trevor Lawrence had to go. This is a second-year quarterback that has not had big moments, has not been particularly great. And the Ravens defense, like the Ravens defense do for every team in the fourth quarter, seemingly, they let Tua do it. They let Josh Allen do it. It's nobody they don't let do this. March right down the field, make uncontested after uncontested catch to score. But, see, that's not the problem. Because, you see, they get the field goal, and then it's only going into overtime. You let them beat you off of already taking it down the field on you with under a minute left, and scoring a touchdown, and getting a 2-point conversion to lose the game, to beat you. And somehow that's Lamar Jackson's fault. Now, the people that's overcritical of Lamar Jackson, unlike who aren't like this critical, because I done seen Josh Allen, and you know, I hate using Josh Allen because of how much I love Josh Allen, but because of how much I watch Josh Allen has not put together a great season yet. Well, he put together one. I think his first year with Stephon Diggs was like his best season. Bro, Josh Allen done had ridiculously turnover-prone season damn near every year in his career. Josh Allen do not put together 16 full games every year. The only reason people think he did last year is because of the playoff performance he had. Lamar Jackson that had phenomenal seasons. And he is not critiqued. I mean, he is critiqued far harsher than Josh Allen. And Josh Allen got weapons. It just don't make sense to me, man. I'm baffled by that, to be completely honest with you. But, like I said, you put any quarterback in that situation, and you expect the defense to hold. It's like Ryan Clark said. You put him and his defense in that situation, just tell Mike T, Ben, and all them other dudes, go ahead to the locker room. We'll see you out there. We about to get this win. 80 yards the quarterback would have had to go in his second year? Nah. You see, and the first thing that would have been talked about the next day is how the Steelers defense blew it. That doesn't happen with Baltimore. It's how Lamar Jackson could have played better to get his team a win. And this is my problem. No quarterback play a perfect game. 90% of the time, it's no quarterback that put together a complete game. It's very rare. We've seen quarterbacks do it once in a while here and there. But no quarterback putting together 4 quarters of great football, bro. It's just not possible at times. This shit is hard to do. For some reason, only Lamar Jackson is criticized when he does not put together 4 quarters of great football. But when he play good enough for you to win games, and they lose them because of defenses and don't play 4 quarters of good football, it's Lamar Jackson's fault. I done seen Pat Mahomes. I'm not even going to go through all the quarterbacks, bro. Just know every quarterback that's done started this year has yet to put together 4 quarters of great football. I think Pat Mahomes probably done had one, and Jalen Hurts. But other than that, it is tough. I mean, the Raiders won yesterday, and Derek Carr had 2 interceptions. The Cowboys won on Christmas. Dak Prescott had 2 interceptions. The Thanksgiving game, I meant on Christmas for Dallas. The Bills won on Thanksgiving. Josh Allen had 2 interceptions. Josh Allen had thrown about 7 or 8 interceptions in his last 4 games. So I don't hear the critique of these dudes like I hear Lamar. And you might say, oh, well, they winning. My guy, Lamar Jackson and the Ravens are 7-4. They were 7-3 going into yesterday. People talk about this team as if they are 4-7 team. Make it make sense. This is a unanimous MVP. He done led the league in touchdown passes. Last year, this dude's air yardages was crazy before he got hurt, and his averages on his passes. You keep telling the man to go out there and win with nothing because he don't have. Matter of fact, before I even get into the nothing, let me talk about the nothings, because one of my biggest problems with the media is the fact that you feel like you can't talk about the Ravens if you don't blame everything on Lamar. I don't even know if these motherfuckers know anybody else's name on Baltimore outside of Lamar Jackson. You know what I'm saying? At this point, when it comes to this fucking team losing. When they win, they sure they can get a credit to any fucking body. I hear them give so much credit to other players on this team every time Baltimore win, and then start to doubt Lamar, not realizing, well, they do realize it, they're just ignorant to it. He is the only reason they were ever in the position to win anyways. I hear it all the time, but when they lose, it's always Lamar. First name. Patrick Queen played like shit yesterday. Once again, back to his old ways, running clean the fuck past people, because he fast enough to get to you, but so fucking his IQ is so low that he run clean the fuck past you. Like, it's a missed tackle, but it's not even considered a missed tackle in the stat sheets because he didn't even make the tackle attempt because he just could not stop himself from running clean fucking past somebody. You got Mark Andrews. Man, I love Mark Andrews. Top 3 tight end. I'm definitely finna, and it's almost by default at this point because it's not a lot of great tight ends. This motherfucker ain't seen a clutch catch he won't drop. I never see people bring that up, though. You constantly compare him to Kelsey, but I never see people bring up how Kelsey is. This is why I don't like people comparing Kelsey to no tight end in football. Because, for one, I tell you how Travis Kelsey knows how to get open in zones. You usually call a zone to try to stop players like Kelsey. Kelsey, because you don't want to play him one-on-one. You don't want to man up on him unless you got a Derwin James. Kelsey still knows how to get open. It don't matter what coverage you play. Mark Andrews can get lost throughout the duration of games. And I'm not trying to go hard at Mark Andrews, but Mark Andrews don't take this criticism from nobody but me. Nobody in the media is criticizing Mark Andrews. It's always, oh, Lamar throw it to him too much. Bro, Mark Andrews got routes where he could get open if he understood how to get open in this zone. If he understood how to sit the fuck down in this zone. If he understood everything around him. If you know how good your quarterback is so much, then why are you making it so hard for him to always hit? Because Mark Andrews, you think Lamar throw it to him too much now. Imagine if Mark Andrews was always open. Because he could be if he were the Travis Kelsey that y'all keep trying to make it seem like he is. Because I do think Mark Andrews is a great player. He ain't Travis Kelsey. You look at Travis Kelsey, he is light years better than Mark Andrews. It's not, to me, it's not even a debate. Like, you cannot compare stats, bro. You have to actually, by the way, Travis Kelsey got 12 touchdown catches on the season. You have to actually look at the games. Look at how much easy, bro, anytime Kansas City has a game-winning drive or a clutch drive, you gotta have it drive. Travis Kelsey is always there. Without fail. That is not the same for Mark Andrews. It's just not. Mark Andrews can dominate the beginning of a meaningless quarter for the first 2 quarters when it's meaningless. And then when the game get tough down the stretch, he can't get open. He can't get through his one-on-ones now. He dropping catches now. But the media find ways to blame Lamar for those. Oh, pass was too high. Oh, it was too behind him. Oh, he didn't lead him. None of these things are ever the case. It's just the excuses they make for Andrews because they have some weird-ass thing against Lamar Jackson to where they become super critical. Because go look at a lot of the game-winning drives with Pat Mahomes. He don't have to throw perfect passes to Travis Kelsey. Tom Brady didn't have to put the pass right on the money to Gronk. If these are the great, if you're telling me how great a player is, you can't then tell me, oh, well, he can't do this because Lamar Jackson, a generational talent. Because you would never do that for Kelsey, because he got a generational talent at quarterback, or Gronk. But for some reason, you keep letting Mark Andrews off the hook. I've never seen the media bring up Mark. You want to know one of the reasons that piss me off about Mark Andrews? And I love Mark Andrews. That game against the Bills that people like to talk about in the playoffs that year, where Lamar Jackson threw that pick six, which shouldn't have even been a pick six. These jackasses on our team refused to tackle the dude for some reason. Mark Andrews had just dropped a pass and a touchdown on that drive before the interception happened. Just dropped him. Nobody ever talked about it. The game against the Patriots like last year or 2 years ago when the rain was crazy, Mark Andrews had multiple drop catches in that game. The first game of the season last year against the Raiders on the game-winning drive where Lamar Jackson fumbled the ball in overtime. Right before that, Mark Andrews dropped multiple catches. For one, he dropped multiple catches in that game. For two, he dropped a clutch catch on the fucking drive. Like, Mark Andrews don't get hammered for none of this shit. I ain't never seen nobody in the media talk about Mark Andrews' unclutchness. I never seen it. Like, people like to go at Lamar. Go show me the film where Mark Andrews was as clutch as he was supposed to be. As people continue to make him out to be. Because I watched every game Mark Andrews done played as a pro. And I know how great he is, which is why I know he's not better than Travis Kelce. But he is to me better than Kittle. Because I don't think they use Kittle like he should be used all the time. However, I don't like, do I want people getting on TV all the time going ham on Mark? Absolutely not. It's a limit. But to not call this dude out for all these times that he done been so crucial in the losses because of drop catches. Like yesterday, Baltimore had 3 touchdowns that they dropped. Dudes dropping touchdowns left and right. And you know who had one of them drop touchdowns? Mark Andrews. Mandrews. But nobody going to talk about that. Nobody is going to talk about those multiple touchdown drops. Nobody going to talk about the fact that the next topic, who the fuck is getting open on a regular basis for Baltimore? And this is one of my problems, bro. Somehow, Eric DeCosta and Steve Bisciotti and Ozzie are sitting back watching these games. And they continue to tell themselves, the problem with this team is defense. Not that nobody on the team can get open. The scariest part of this is they are thinking to themselves, if Bateman was here, we wouldn't have this problem. When in actuality, they had this problem with Bateman too. Bateman could get open better than some of these dudes, but he wasn't beating his man 90% of the time, 80%. He wasn't beating his man at a high enough route for me to be trusting him when he get back. Not to mention, this is his second year being hurt like this. Basically missing a full season. Not to mention, he played long enough this year for us to see he don't got hands. And I don't mean that disrespectfully, but he ain't got reliable hands as a hands-catching receiver. You want your number one receiver to have great hands to bring in anything. Bateman ain't got that. That's why he was dropping so many slants across the middle. That's why he couldn't make contested catches. Yeah, he good for giving you one here or there, probably every third game. But consistently, that's what you want your number one receiver to be able to do consistently. Bateman's production was the production of a number 3 receiver. You okay with that type of production from your number 3 or your number 2, not from your number 1. And Ozzie, ED, and Bisciotti is sitting back thinking to themselves, all we need is a defender, because they went out and they keep going out and getting big. Now, I mean, look, they went and got Marcus Peters. They went and got Roquan Smith. They went out and signed Calais Campbell. They went out and got Justin Houston. I mean, they go after defender. You can name so many big name defenders this team done went after in the past couple years. Name one great offensive player they done went after. One great receiver. I'm breaking it down. Name one great receiver that you could legitimately say was a game changer on the level of those dudes that they brought in defensive-wise, the Eric Weddles, Name that person on offense who they done brought in for Lamar Jackson. And I didn't ask this question before. And I understand it's a question that can't be answered. Because they have brought in nobody. But we keep blaming Lamar. I see people all the time talking about how Justin Herbert ain't got no help when his dudes was hurt. Motherfucker, the same dude to keep missing the playoffs with those same two dudes when they healthy. But when we talk about Lamar, it's all on him. It's all on him. But like Dominique said today, who is getting open? People keep telling me how great James Prochet is. The motherfucker don't get open. And then, of course, people like Dan Orlovsky will continue to blame Lamar and say, well, he won't take the easy passes. How many times do we... I don't understand how you continue to look at this offense and say, Lamar, just dink and dunk. So that when he start doing that, you can say, well, he just dinking and dunking. Even though that's literally what Justin Herbert been doing most of the season. That's what the Bengals do when Buddy start throwing too many interceptions. See, they not actually watching these games and telling y'all about them. They watching the highlights and talking about the dudes that they like. And as long as the highlights match who they like the shit that they say that they like, then it's cool. That's why Justin Herbert is always on the show every week with, Burrow is on the show with Colin. That's why Josh Allen is always on the show with Cal, whatever Buddy's name is. Because these white dudes love these white dudes that look like him. They love their daughter to date them. And so they're going to constantly talk great about these dudes. They're not going to constantly tell you the flaws in these dudes. They're not going to shine the light. They're not going to dim these kids' lights. And I see it all the time. Look at, it's a perfect fucking example. Look at the motherfucker for the Jets. Zach Wilson. He has been trash since he got to the league. And all I heard when people was talking about him possibly being benched was white dudes coming to his defense on TV talking about, oh, he just a kid. Oh, he just a kid. But I kept seeing dudes like Shannon say, but he ain't been good. Could you imagine if Lamar Jackson's production his first 2 years was what Zach Wilson done gave you? Do you think they would be saying, I mean, he just a kid. He just a kid. Because you ain't never seen nobody win a unanimous MVP and still be questioned if they a good quarterback or franchise quarterback or a running back, playing quarterback. You never seen it. You never seen it. You didn't question Tom Brady's greatness or his arm strength when he was dinking and dunking for like 3 years in New England because he had no real weapons. But for some, and even when Tom left, all I heard was Tom Brady ain't got no help. This is the same quarterback people kept saying, oh, he gonna make his help better. Lamar Jackson actually do elevate the talent around him. And that's no shot at Brady. Brady couldn't elevate them dudes at that point in time. He was past his prime. So that was the difference. I didn't want to make sure you didn't think I was taking a shot at my guy. GOAT. Lamar Jackson is actually elevating his talent, much like Brady did when he still could. And for some fucking reason, we still blame Lamar. Not we. You motherfuckers. Still blame Lamar. It makes no sense. How many times can you give a defense this type of lead? The Ravens defense done basically gave up 60 plus fucking points in the fourth quarters combined of all their losses. And over 500 fucking yards. His team's atrocious in the fourth. And if you just watch the games, you'll see it. I told you multiple times. When Lamar Jackson go out there and score, the defense let the other team go down and score. When Lamar Jackson don't score, then the defense will get a stop. Lamar Jackson go down there and score again, defense give up another score. How does that work? The team all of a sudden is not good enough to score against you until your team score. Do you understand how undisciplined football that is? That your defense would literally give up a touchdown damn near every single... Go look at the stats. I'm not even a stat motherfucker. You know that. Go look at the stats. I want to know what's the stat for every time Lamar Jackson scored, then when his defense let the other team come down and score right after they done scored. Not only is that just god-awful football, that means that this is an undisciplined defense. That means this defense is not going out there and relying on themselves to be great. They're saying to themselves, okay, Lamar Jackson them scored, so we can take a break now. And when they don't score, it's, oh, okay, now we got to play hard. But then they score again, it's, okay, we can take our foot off the pedal. Do you realize how unbelievably ignorant and bad of football that is? And then people want to talk about, well, you know, it's because of the offense ain't been able to go out there and keep scoring when they get these big leads. If an offense give you 40 fucking points, I don't expect the offense to then go out there and continue to give me points and end up with 100 or 80. I don't expect an offense to do that. I don't expect offenses in the NFL to go out there and give you 40-something points. You should be thankful if they go out there and give you 21. Lamar Jackson offenses, mind you, Lamar Jackson led offensive stats have taken a hit this year. And I want to blame, that's not Lamar Jackson's fault. That is Steve Bisciotti, Eric DeCosta, and Ozzie Newsome's fault. I should probably blame John Harbaugh, but I'm not. But that is their faults. I'm not even blaming our OC because I don't think it's Greg Roman's fault. Greg Roman can only work with what he is given. I do believe Greg Roman has not been the best OC in past years. Greg Roman is not the problem this year. It's not, you can't show me a ton of film where the dudes just running right beside each other and running into each other. This is a lack of talent. Greg Roman can only do so much. Do I think even with what he's done, it could be better? Yeah, anybody can be better. Kyle Shanahan will tell you that. However, they are giving him nothing to work with. They basically said, you got Lamar, you got Mark Andrews. Go make magic. And it's as if they don't realize defenses still do get better. Now I know these white analysts on TV would like to make it seem like the only players that defenses get better against is Lamar Jackson. Because when Lamar Jackson played a team twice, they better against him the second time. As if they not better against every fucking player they play against a second time. But that's an exclusive stat for Lamar Jackson by white NFL analysts. Nonetheless, why is it that Lamar Jackson can continuously go out there and have to play Superman for this fucking team? Which is crazy because you went out and got him a defense because you said you got Roquan Smith, because you said if Lamar Jackson give us this touchdown in the lead at the end of a game, this is the type of defense that can get the stop to win us and secure that victory. It couldn't. They let the motherfucker march down the field, get the touchdown, then get the 2-point conversion. So that's a failed experiment already. What I find so absolutely wild is this. I done talked about how they don't get them weapons. I done talked about how they don't they spend on defense but won't spend on offense. I done talked about how they blame everything on him. I done talked about Mark Andrews. I done talked about people not getting open. My problem, to bring it all back, what I don't understand is how these motherfuckers are sitting up top watching this and they don't see this. Like I said, they probably still think Bateman is the answer. How? Like, how do you sit up there and watch this? And they can't make trades now. You can't even go out and try to make a trade for a great receiver. This is what you have. You now have to hope Lamar Jackson play like Superman and can make everybody else greater than once again. And do you want to know the problem with them looking at this shit and allowing this to continuously happen? And thinking that Lamar Jackson going to stay with this team after they forcing him to do this shit on and not be paid. Do you want to know what's crazy? What other quarterback is being forced to do this? What other great quarterback is being forced to do this? I'll wait. I know the bad ones being questioned about have to do this. I know the ones who people not sure on have to do this. Do you think Josh Allen would be dealing with this right now? Joe Burrow, why can I get my boy Herbert's name right? They're not dealing with this. Dak Prescott shouldn't have been dealing with it in Dallas, but I understand I understand the questions on Dak. He felt into that, not quite sure on him. And I was finna say, if you're not sure on somebody, that mean they're not it, but I don't want to say that because I like Dak. I think Dak is a good quarterback and a franchise-level quarterback. But what other franchise-level quarterback, having to go through this? Not to mention, the Cowboys could make an argument against Dak because they could say, look at all the weapons we've given you. And you've not gotten past, the third round or the second round of the playoffs? Can Lamar Jackson's team tell him that? Can they look at Lamar Jackson and say, look at all the talent we've given you, and you've yet to come up big for us? Can they really say that? Because I know Lamar can go in there and say, look at how great I've played for you, and look at all the talent that I've played without. But in no universe can Baltimore go into a conversation with Lamar and say, look at all we've given you. This is the least spent since Lamar Jackson been the quarterback of the Ravens. This team has spent the less on receivers than any team in football. Look at what we've given you. Sorry. This is what I'm saying. But the media ain't talking about this. The media ain't bringing this up. The media is not, and that's what I don't understand. I don't understand. Like, it's not this hard to do y'all jobs and do it competently. I don't get it. Like, this ain't rocket science. This ain't, you literally just have to watch the games. If you don't talk about them. Because the misleadingness of Lamar Jackson being the reason that this Baltimore Ravens team is not as good as it should be. Bro, Lamar Jackson is the only reason we think this team could be as good as we keep imagining it is. This is not a great roster. The defense actually do got a good roster, which is why it's amazing that this team is as bad as it is. But when you have key positions being played by players who shouldn't be playing them. Furthermore, I'm justified in saying Patrick Queen should not be starting on a football field. He just shouldn't. If you continuously relying on Roquan Smith to make this dude better, then you got a problem. Marcus Peters is probably not a starting level cornerback at the moment. That's who they kept going at. Now, it don't help that you don't have a good safety plan over the top of him when you got Geno Stone and Chuck Clark on the fucking field. Two players who are atrocious. Chuck Clark been masquerading around like a good player for like 3 years. He haven't been. He had a decent year and got paid for it. The Ravens, who for some reason had no problem signing a mediocre safety off of one good year, like they didn't have a problem signing Justin Forsett off of one good year, a journeyman running back, instead of paying their own player in Torrey Smith. I mean, just look at who they willing to give a contract to and look at who they not willing to give. It's no, you know what? Like Shannon Sharp like to say, to make a long story short and a short story longer, whatever the fuck he be saying. Lamar Jackson should not be re-signing with this team. You let them exhaust them franchise tags. Hold out. Do whatever you got to do, my guy. It is so very clear after being a fan of this team. So they are not going to get you the help that you deserve. Point blank, period. They are not going to go out and get you a receiver. They are not going to go out and pay the right defenders to be over here. Do you know that two of the best pass rushing defenders in the NFL right now are supposed to be on Baltimore right now? Zadarius Smith was drafted and developed by the Ravens. And they didn't want to pay him, so they let him walk. And he dominated ever since. Matthew Judon is who you thought was going to get paid when they didn't pay Zadarius. And then they let him walk. Man, he been dominating ever since. Could you imagine how much better this defense... And I understand Justin Houston. But Justin Houston, as great as he is, right now is having a great season, yes. But he is not what Matthew Judon and Zadarius Smith have been the last couple years. It's just a fact. Could you imagine how much better this defense would be if they had those two dudes rushing off the edges like they did before? Because that's the true difference in this defense. You know, if you want to go back to the glory days of this defense, it's two dudes on it. Zadarius and Judon. Two legitimate pass rushers. Bona fide pass rushers. Justin Houston is a bona fide pass rusher. But he old. You wouldn't want to be relied on him this late in his career. He supposed to be a third down player. He on the field damn near every drive. Defense stop the run until they can stop the run until they can't. Until it matters. And then they let dudes just gape them for big rushes. Still can't stop a screen pass. If you want to be able to get, if you are a quarterback who is struggling, play Baltimore. That fact just still remains. Especially if you can hang around, just be good until you get to that fourth quarter and the gates will open. Baltimore gonna let you have whatever the fuck is. Don't let Baltimore have a 2-score lead. Then you really gonna be able to get your rocks off. You might be able to throw for 400 yards. That's what Baltimore's defense gonna let you do. But Ozzie and them boys go out there, and if you a defense that's you might not be the greatest, but as long as you have a game plan on how to cover, not necessarily on how to stop Lamar, but at this point, yeah, just know how to stop him from being able to break loose and run. Because while you don't necessarily want Lamar to be able to pick you apart with his arm, Right now you do. Who the fuck he got to throw it to? I say this for all, I done said it for the Packers. I done said it for multiple teams. If I'm a defense and I go out there and I'm looking across from me and I say, who on this team can kill me? The only person I'm looking at is Lamar. I'm not even looking at Mark Andrews. Because if I'm a defense and I done watched his tapes, I know that, yeah, he can make a couple catches here and there. He ain't going to do nothing that's going to kill me in the end because he ain't clutch. He going to drop more than he make in the fourth quarter. The only person I need to make sure I contain is Lamar. Not because he a great runner, but because I know we can stop these passers. So the next great thing is how unbelievably great he can run. So if we can stop that, then we can stop the Ravens. Now, it might still be a tough game because Lamar Jackson is a generational talent. But if we can try to do our jobs to the best of our abilities, because he don't have nobody who can beat us constantly. He can. He can make plays to beat us. They can't. And if I'm a defense, and that's my mentality when I go out there. Because if I'm going against the Raiders, I'm like, okay, we got to figure out how to do something about Davante Adams. He can fuck up this entire game. Like, we got to commit more dues to him. We got to be locked in on scheme. We have to make sure Davante Adams don't fuck this up for us. It's nobody on Baltimore who you saying that about. A tight end ain't going to bust open the whole game for you. But somehow Ozzie, Eric DeCosta. I want to stop saying Ozzie. Because even though I know he's still up there helping, Eric DeCosta the motherfucker making these decisions, bro. He the motherfucker who went out there and traded for Roquan instead of going out there and getting Lamar Jackson a fucking receiver. It's ridiculous, man. And it's irritating. And I feel bad for Lamar. I really want him to lead his fucking team. I really want him to go somewhere else. I really do. I want him to become ignorant like they want to say he is and get his money from another team. Because not only would another team pay him, they would actually go out and get him weapons, bro. Baltimore is one of the only teams that refuses to pay top dollars for their talent. But they'll pay the wrong talent. I'm damn near sure now that they will pay Patrick Queen. Because he's not good. So I'm pretty sure they'll give him a good lucrative contract. Because that's what they seem to do. Pay the wrong players. They probably will re-up Marcus Peters. Hell, at this point, I'm pretty sure they'll re-sign Roquan Smith now. And Roquan is a great player. But why would... Matter of fact, what am I talking about? He's a great player. They ain't re-signing Roquan. They gonna let that motherfucker walk. I'm just telling you what it is, man. And it's no reason why why Lamar should be sitting around thinking to himself, yeah, they're going to change for me. Bro, they're not. They're not. You need to go to a team like a Miami. I'm not saying go to Miami, but a team like a Miami or Buffalo that clearly is willing to put pieces, or Kansas City that's excuse me. A team that's constantly looking for ways to build around their franchise quarterback, their generational quarterback. Hell, Miami might not even know if Tua is the franchise quarterback, but they're doing everything they can to find out. They're doing everything they can to find out. I find it very interesting that Baltimore, a team that everybody thinks is a complete team, in the draft, if they such a complete team, why don't they move up with all them picks they be having and go get a receiver? A bona fide number one receiver. You a complete team. It shouldn't hurt you to go up and trade up to get... Because I done seen the fucking Niners trade up to go get a top pick in the draft. And look at all the talent they had littered on defense. If the Ravens is that type of team that people keep telling me it is, why are they not making these same type of business decisions that great teams make to try to win? Why do they keep putting it all on Lamar? And I don't never see nobody that's not named John Harbaugh come out and defend Lamar. It seemed like John Harbaugh. That's why I don't really like criticizing Harbaugh. Because it really do seem like from what he be saying in his interviews that he realized what he is watching. Like, he's not going to say it because he's the head coach of the team. But it'd be hard pressed for me not to believe that John Harbaugh don't realize Lamar Jackson is basically his only option right now. Like, that's the only dude he can trust on offense. Which is why he not going to kill Lamar when Lamar have to be Superman and it blow up in their face. John Harbaugh yesterday watched the team do what he been doing for 2 years now. Jacksonville had no faith in the defense. So they said, let's just go win this game now. We're not going to overtime. We're winning this game now. and they went for 2-point conversion. John Harbaugh done that about 4 or 5 times in the last 2 years. Because he said to himself, don't trust this defense. I trust Lamar, though. Might not trust nobody on this offense but Lamar, but I trust Lamar. So I'll go for it on these 4th and shorts or 4th and 2s, and I'll go for it on when I score, we're going for 2. Because I trust my quarterback. John Harbaugh just didn't realize. Mind you, Trevor Lawrence wasn't even playing with all his great players yesterday, but this is not a Trevor Lawrence playing with his receivers type thing. This is not that type of conversation. I don't even know why I brought that up. But John Harbaugh just watched the team do exactly what he's been trying to do with his team for the last couple months. You know how disrespectful he feel right now? Disrespected he feel? Like, I hate it for Harbaugh, man. Because I'm pretty sure he got to clearly see that Lamar Jackson ain't got no help out there. And that Mark Andrews is becoming less reliable by the fucking game. And like I said, I love Mark Andrews, man. But I'm never going to get over the fact that this motherfucker like dropping clutch catches. It's just his thing. I don't get it. It's just his thing. If it's a clutch catch to be dropped, he got you. And I just don't get that. I don't get that. But hey, maybe I'm the bad guy. All I know is I don't want Lamar Jackson on this team. I really don't. And I don't mean that as in I don't want Lamar. He ain't a good. No. This is a generational talent. If you look at me and you watch my show, I talk all the time how I want to see great players be in great situations. I'm not a fan of watching a great player have to struggle in a situation because a team will not go all out and spend the money to build around the player, especially knowing they're going to get that money back. Because when you have you want to know why the Warriors never bitched about bringing in KD and paying that type of money? They knew they was making it back because they was always selling out the crowd. I mean, selling out home games. Hell, they was selling out other motherfuckers' arenas when they came to town. Merch flying off the shelves. You can do all type of crazy events and charge money because people are going to want to come see those stars. So stop giving me that excuse. Oh, we can't pay. They pay too. Bruh, you make these billionaires who making that money back 10 times with the shit that they getting out of these athletes, bruh. The money don't stop once they stop playing a game. They still making money off of you. So I want Lamar to go to a team where they're going to actually understand we have a generational quarterback. Let's actually build around it. Could you imagine how much better Lamar would be? We already seen what he can be without a true number one receiver. How fucking good do we imagine this dude could be even more if he actually had a number one receiver? Could you imagine if he didn't have to go into a game every week with a changing a rotation of receivers? Could you imagine what he could do if he actually could go into games trusting his receiver? Not just saying it, because I understand Lamar a good person, so he gonna always ride with his guys. But could you imagine if we actually saw him play with these dudes on a week-to-week basis and he did actually trust guys that he knew what routes they was running. He knew how they like to run their routes, where they wanted the ball. Man, this motherfucker got to play with different dudes on a weekly basis. He don't know who going to be in the lineup on a week-to-week basis. But the media still go out there and blame Lamar. How long is we going to let the media get away with half-assing these stories? And I got a big problem with it because I'm a black man. And I don't like how I see them doing a fucking black man who is clearly a generational talent. I didn't know I was going to bring race into it, but when race got to be brought into it, race got to be brought into it. I'm not one of them pussies that be like, oh man, why would you bring in race? Shut the fuck up. The fact that they find it so conveniently easy to do this to a black man, because I see how they do Kyler Murray, and I don't think Kyler Murray nowhere near as good as Lamar Jackson, but I know he better than a Baker Mayfield, and I ain't never see them go at Baker Mayfield like they go at Kyler. Every time I see Kyler, they bring up a fucking Call of Duty joke. Where is the jokes about Baker Mayfield? Like what? I'm confused. Justin Herbert has been average. He ain't got no accomplishments to his resume. They overthrow the ball in LA with the Chargers, and people dick ride him for it. White males in the media dick ride him for it. What's going on? This is why I say, bro, it's got to be somebody who create a black male like myself have to keep grinding and create a network that's truly gonna shed light on these type of things, man, because the media has been able to get away with this nonsense for too long. There's no way that these white dudes in the media should be able to talk so highly of mediocre players. I still see people defend Baker Mayfield. Still. To this day, I ain't even just talking about Skip Bayless. I know you got Skip dumbass who defend Baker, but I'm talking about it's other people in the media, white dudes. It's only been white dudes who defend Baker Mayfield, bro. Still, to this day. Like, Lamar, I hope this message reaches you. You truly is a generational talent, my guy. And because I'm the type of person I am, I do not want to see generational talent wasted. I understand that dudes only got a finite, and women only got a finite amount of time to do this. To be great at this is easy. Not playing quarterback, but when you play in a sport that's so reliant on oneself, where you can be relying on yourself, like an NBA and things of that nature, it's easy to be great. It's not easy to be great in the NFL. So when I see quarterbacks do generational things on a yearly basis, be the reason their team ever have a chance, that frustrates me. Phillip Rivers wasn't a generational quarterback. He was a great one. Lamar Jackson is a generational quarterback, being treated like an average one, talked about like he average. When in actuality, you name one quarterback that you could put in a situation that he been put in and would have the same record or a better record. Joe Burrow got two great receivers over there, and when one of his great receivers went down, because he had three, when one went down, all of a sudden he didn't have weapons. Tyler Boyd is a number one receiver who been masquerading around as a number two for the past 2 years because they had Chase. That's the type of goofy shit they say for white quarterbacks. Joe Burrow. I'm not even going to get into that right now. But Josh, I probably should have just took the shot that I was finna take at Joe Burrow. I should have, because you know I rock with you. However, Josh Allen was not good before he got Stephon Diggs, bruh. Lamar Jackson has been great without a number one receiver. I'm tired of this shit. Lamar, you too generational to be on this sorry-ass team. You too generational to be on a team that's not willing to pay you. I wouldn't come back anyways after they didn't pay me just now. Like, if I was you and I just had to play on a contract year like this and they didn't, fuck them. There's no shot in hell I would ever be back on this team. That's just me personally. Also, and y'all gotta understand, I got a Baltimore Ravens tattoo on my wrist. Like, this ain't no fake fan and just no Lamar rider. I ride with Lamar now, but I am a true Baltimore Raven fan. I've been my whole life. Lamar, I hope you go to a team that actually want to do good by you, bro. I hope you go to. You telling me Miami didn't think they was gonna have to pay Tua? It's no way Miami thought that Miami had to know when they made that trade for Tyreek Hill, there was a possibility he makes Tua a better player and we have to pay Tua. They did not go into that situation saying to themselves, no way we're going to ever have to pay Tua. They already had planned that they would possibly have to pay him along with the quarterback. Same with Josh Allen and his dudes. KC wanted to pay Tyreek Hill. He just knew he could make more somewhere else. That's just already having a Super Bowl ring and wanting the biggest contract you could possibly get. The Packers tried to pay Devontae Adams. He just didn't want to be there. So don't feed me this bullshit of, oh, well, you know, if you pay a quarterback, you can't possibly pay a receiver. Because that's cap. Lamar, you deserve better. You deserve to be with a team that's willing to build around you, that's willing to actually go out there and get you legitimate number one receiver type talent, that's willing to go out there and... Bro, if the worst thing Lamar Jackson got is a fucking offensive line, then a running back, then damn it, that's fine. Because Josh Allen and the Bills organization specifically, what they're going to make sure Josh got is a line and receivers. I understand they want a running back, but that's why we keep saying that if they had a running back, they could do. For some reason, they just can't find a consistent running back because I just don't think they're good at scouting backs. However, that's the only problem with their offense is they don't have a run game. It's nothing else. And that's a great problem to have when you have a number one quarterback, a franchise quarterback, And you can say safely, we got the number one receiver over there. And we're going to keep bringing in other type great receivers to try to get the most out of even him. But at least we got those two. Baltimore ain't been able to say that ever. And they got a generational quarterback, and they tried to fleece him like they did Flacco. Flacco is not a generational quarterback. Flacco is a generational playoff quarterback. And then they pull this shit. Lamar, you a better dude than me, man. But with that being said, I appreciate y'all for joining me in another episode of Kicking It with Saint. Fuck the Baltimore Ravens. Fuck these white dudes in the sports media. And you know what's funny? It's probably going to have to be a white dude that helped me get signed one day, get put on. But that's okay. I'm not talking to dudes like Max Kellerman. I'm not talking about dudes like Greeny. I'm talking about these white dudes like Kyle Brandit. I'm talking about these white dudes in the media that's constantly going dick riding for white quarterbacks. And I hate to say this, but shit, I'm probably talking about Colin Cowherd too. And I love Colin. Love Colin. I remember Colin used to be on that show with Michelle Beadle, bro, and I didn't think he was good at the time because of how much I did not like Michelle Beadle. Because I have at no point in time in Michelle Beadle's career have I ever liked Michelle Beadle. I always thought she was one of the most irritating sports analysts I had ever watched. And then once she became big time, and they split, because I guess I don't know how what the split was about, but I know he went to Fox and became big time, and she stayed on ESPN and she was getting them ESPN. I was like, Jesus Christ, why is she still employed, bro? Like, why is she still employed? And I also thought to myself, how did they pick her over him? And then I realized there's no way ESPN was ever going to give Colin a show like he got right now. Like, it's not even a show on ESPN, nothing like The Herd. Like, it's not one show on ESPN that I'm thinking of right now that is kind of like The Herd, where you got one dude. Like, Stephen A's World was kind of like that, but nowhere near. Like, I don't think it's one, like, Colin Cowherd made the right decision. It's no show on ESPN that's anything like The Herd. And I guess to ESPN's credit, or Fox's credit, that's a good thing. I guess that's a good, because I can't think of no show. I guess that Oberman show that they used to have was kind of like that, but that shit was boring as hell. Oh, I guess Scott Van Pelt, but that's not even really because that's just a highlight show basically and shit. You know what I'm saying? I love Scott Van Pelt show, but that's not The Herd either. Like, I don't think ESPN got a single show that's like, so Colin made a great fucking decision. A great decision. But Michelle Beadle, bro. Absolute garbage. Absolute garbage. I even think to this day you garbage. You know how you used to go at LeVar Ball and how you used to wish bad on Lonzo just because you didn't like LeVar? Yeah. You's an ignorant bitch. I just want you to know that. I hope this message passes you one day. I'm all about positivity and whatnot. But in those moments, you was a complete bitch. You probably still is, to be completely honest with you. Because I saw when Rachel Nichols got fired and you did that little thing to her too. You know what I'm saying? So I don't even apologize, bro. You definitely is a straight hating ass bitch, bro. There's no two ways around it, bro. You definitely is that type, bro. I get that vibe out of you. That's the aura that you present to me, that you's a real ignorant bitch, bro. That nobody should really want to be around. I would love to ask Colin how he really felt about you one day. But I want to ask Rachel Nichols how she felt when she saw, or if you even on her radar. Like, if you even on her radar anywhere near. Because I hate to break it to you, I don't. It has been nobody on the show after you that has been anywhere near as bad as you. There was nobody on the show before you that was anywhere near as bad as you either. Like, Michelle Beadle to me is truly the worst analyst that I have ever seen on ESPN, probably in my lifetime, because of a multitude of things. But just the personal hate and attacks that she had for so many different people is one of the biggest reasons that I was disgusted by watching her on a regular basis. But hey, it's like my homeboy said the other day. Hate it for you, but girl headed down that path too. Malia. Bro, do you know how many people do not fuck with Malika Andrews no more, bro? It is crazy. And I was bothered by what she did, that little thing that she had, but I didn't counsel her in my mind. Like, I wasn't like, oh, she got to go now. But you know, the more the situation that been broke down to me by a whole bunch of the homies who don't fuck with her no more. And this ain't one of them things where it's like, oh, man, she a light skin, so you giving her a chance. Nah, I don't care about that. I thought she was actually great at talking sports. But if she hate black men, and myself being a black man, well, you know, that's gonna rub me the wrong way then. Because if you was a white dude listening to a motherfucker who don't like white dudes, you'd have a problem. But as I found out a couple days ago from a white dude, most white people don't care when people don't like them because they're not even used to people not liking them. So they find it interesting. That came out of a white dude's mouth. I could tell y'all a racist thing that a white dude said the other day, but I'm not. With that being said, I appreciate y'all for joining. I didn't even know this episode was going to be that long. Had a lot to say about the Ravens. I still got more to say. I just decided to cut the episode. I didn't think it was going to be an hour, but I'm probably going to do a breakdown of the games. I got to go back and watch a lot of them motherfuckers. It's going to be a different type of show this week, I promise you, because I didn't really watch any game this week except for I watched Baltimore. I watched some of Baltimore because I was asleep. I woke up at around halftime every game. I watched some of that I watched the KC game until I realized I'm not watching this anymore. I watched it. You know what? We'll probably have a quick breakdown of most of the games, a score breakdown and things like that. Probably going to focus on that Packers game, though, because I watched that entire game. That's the only game I watched yesterday all the way through. So, with that being said, I appreciate y'all for joining me. Tell somebody you fuck with them. Tell somebody you love them. Saint out.
I got the moves like hot sauce. Lil' mama taking the top off. I'm laying down getting topped off. After this, you know she getting knocked off. I know she loving the money, so I keep on thumbing and thumbing. She say she horny when she taking shots, so I keep them coming and coming. Now I'm putting dick in her tummy, scoop her up like I'm raking her something. You would think shawty red track, the way that she running and running. You getting dumber and dumber, you out here chasing the bone. After she finished from giving me dome, the Uber is taking her home. Tight.